What you are about to hear is highly classified. Pay attention and listen at all times. And most importantly, remember, beach blankets in and of themselves are not inherently evil. It's just that the sand is really irritating. Wait, that's not what that book's about? Then I guess there's only one thing left to say. Ladies and gentlemen, you are now entering Zone 4. And welcome back to the Zone. I'm Brant.
I'm Chris.
I'm Jay.
And this is episode 425 of your favorite weekly podcast about comics and other stuff, whatever we decide to talk about. Because, we're cool. I guess. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that. But we're here, and we've been having a good time so far. And we're ready to talk about some comics. But before we do that, we should mention we are proud members of the Comics Podcast Network. You can find us each and every week on comicspodcasts.com, again, with a plethora of other shows. But listen to those after you listen to Zone 4, because we're cool. That's the theme of the episode, that we're cool, right?
We're cool like that.
I think, though, if you have to say you're cool, you're probably not cool.
What was that song? I'm cool like that.
I'm cool like that. I'm pressed like that. I'm flat like that.
In the 90s?
There was probably a lot of songs like that in the 90s. Oh, man. So, we're in the thick of the summer. We I don't know. We're having a good time here on Zone 4.
Unless you're in retail, then summer's over.
Well, that's true. That is true.
Back to school's already on the shelves.
I have to say, but yeah, that is true. I have to say before we get really started that today, this episode is, we're recording it actually, well, for you guys, actually on August 3rd, which is when this goes live. That's unprecedented for us. This is Lisa's birthday. So happy birthday, Lisa.
Happy birthday, Lisa. Lisa, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, Lisa. That's a little live tune from Simpsons.
There you go.
Whenever I think of Happy Birthday, Lisa, I always think that. I always try to send it to her on Facebook, the same GIF, or something like that, because I always think of the Simpsons episode.
Definitely, yeah. I was thinking, it's your birthday. Gonna party like it's your birthday.
It's only Lisa's. I think of that song.
Yeah, because her name's Lisa too. Yeah,
it's my cousin's wife too. When it's her birthday, I think of that too. It's just every time I hear Lisa's birthday, I can't think of anything. I can't sing Happy Birthday. I always sing Lisa, it's your birthday.
Yeah, that's funny. All right, so happy birthday again, Lisa. We're very happy to help you celebrate your birthday, and I'm looking forward because we're going out to a place called Razoo's tonight for dinner, and it's nice Cajun. It's mostly seafood, which I don't eat, but they have chicken and stuff like that, so I'm happy.
Razoo's. I was going to ask, is that like a southern thing? It's Creole type Cajun thing.
Yeah,
it has that sound to it,
Yeah,
Razoo's. It doesn't sound like it's going to be chicken and fish.
Right.
Chicken and steak,
We're like an hour and a half from the Louisiana border, so it's a carryover. There's a lot of that kind of cuisine here.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, it's really good though. We had it, I think it was last year sometime for some occasion. We went there, somebody's birthday, I think. But yeah, so we're going there for another birthday. Oh man,
you know what, Brant?
What?
We are some bad guys.
We are bad guys, but are we beach blanket bad guys?
Oh, dear God.
And are we special?
I think we are, but before we talk about how special we are, I did want to say that, because Zone 4 kind of took a hiatus from Comic Frontline's YouTube channel for a while, because, editing is hard. And time-consuming, really. Not really hard, but time-consuming. We just kind of wanted to reintroduce the show and ourselves, and you guys know us. It's kind of weird that the three of us ended up being the Zone Forecast, I think. Kind of makes sense, but it's kind of weird at the same time. It's like the cast just kind of kept changing until it was just all Frontline. We took it over. Man. So, it is funny.
Very wrestling-esque.
It was.
NWO.
Yeah. You know what? we should
NZO.
Yeah, NZO order. Yeah, New Zone order. Or we just do what Chris and I we tried to start at one point with the CWO Comic World order. Just take that over. We got the T-shirts and everything.
And you took over one of my shows.
Yeah, that's true. That was hilarious.
Yeah, that was. He was one of my first Q&Js, just like the second or third one.
It was, and you're like, they're here, aren't they? And
they're here, aren't they?
Because I wasn't on that screen. I was watching the comments, and I had no headphones in because I was like, why do I need headphones in if I'm not hearing anyone? You know? It's like you don't need it.
Right.
So I was like, I see comments. I was like, they're here, aren't they?
That's so funny.
It was like one of those things where you're like, they're right behind you, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. I'll try to link that in the comments for this one if I can figure out which episode, because that was hilarious. That was so fun.
Yeah, it was one of my first Q&Js.
Yeah.
It was like the second or third one.
Yeah, second or third one, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Good times.
The thumbnail is it does say CWO on it.
Oh, nice. Okay, that'll be easy to find it. But yeah,
I watched it back several times. It was fun.
Yeah. So basically, real quick, I don't want to spend a lot of time on this because most of you guys know us, but just real quick, Zone 4, we've been around since 2009. Launched it in April 2009. It was part of another website called Comic Related, and funny enough, the whole cast were writers at Comic Related, so it just kind of transitioned from one to the other. But we started out, the reason it's called Zone 4 is because all four of us at the time were in different time zones. We had a guy in Australia, a guy in Texas, I was in Kentucky, and we had a guy in Chicago. But the guy in Texas was, at the time, in the Gulf of Mexico, so hence the 4 time zones. So, anyway, that was
I thought it was because there were 4 of you.
It was because there was 4 of us, but it was also because it was 4 guys and 4 time zones. Exactly.
4 time zones, 4 guys.
I always thought Twilight Zone. When Lisa introduced me to the show, I was like, "Ooh, awesome!" Because I always liked the Twilight Zone.
That's what I thought when I first started. But then again, when I first started, it wasn't the 4 guys and 4 time zones.
Right.
The guy in Australia wasn't there.
The guy in Australia left it was a couple months in, I think. It didn't work out with his schedule. I mean, there's a 12, 13 hour time difference there. So
it depends on where you're at. It's 12 to 14 hours. Time.
Yeah. He was in Melbourne, so it was like when we had to
13, 14 hours. Yeah.
My experience when it comes to podcasts, unless it's like, for example, like when Brant and I do something, because we know each other. We're like best friends, like family. If it's just a group of friends, half the time, the cast that starts a show, especially if it's like, friends or writers from the same site, usually you're going to see the cast change at least once.
Especially when you can't be in the same place. It's hard to keep that going and work with everybody's lives and schedules and everything. And with Jason, we had to record late Saturday night so he could record in the only window he had, which was Sunday morning right before lunch, because he had to so him and his wife could have lunch on Sunday. So it was like we had this really small window, and eventually it just got too much for him. And so
see, Brant's so lucky now because Jay and I are like AM, aholics. We're up at 12 at night, so he's like, hey, I work past 12 at night. Let's just record.
Yeah. It works out perfectly. It's unless we have guests on, then we're like, okay, we gotta alter this a little bit. But no, it's just funny the way it worked out. We started with the 4 of us, and then it quickly became, we brought John in, and then we brought Ron in, and then Gordon, and then Chris, and now all those left, and it's left with the Frontline crew. And that's why it was very important for me, especially, to bring Zone 4 back to Frontline, because it is a Frontline cast. So, here we are. Long story short.
I love it. This is like a highlight every time we record it, because I know I want to have, it's like going out with your friends, Yeah. It's like having a guys' night without having to go out and deal with other people.
Yeah, I will say, and even with Gordon on, who unfortunately recently had to leave the show, it's been my favorite version of the cast in a long time, just because we all just were able to cut loose and just kind of chit chat. Basically, we had topics and stuff like that, but it's more loose, and I like it more loose. That's how it was in the very beginning. We had a format, but we never stuck to it. It was just like conversation, and I've missed that for a while. So I'm really happy with the current cast, and I appreciate you guys. So.
We appreciate being here.
Chris, I'm a little iffy on, but I appreciate you.
I'm always iffy on Chris, but I keep doing stuff with him, so I must like him.
For those who don't know, I do love Chris as like a brother.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know that. You don't have to defend that. I know that.
You know, there are people who may think I'm trying to bully you, Chris.
No. Oh, my God. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. People might think that.
You know what? It's funny because I think I bully Chris more than anybody, and Chris and I do, like, everything together. It's like we're inseparable.
Yeah. It's a brother thing.
It is.
And I rag on Brent, too.
Yeah.
Ask Brent how I drive him nuts on Fortnite.
Oh, man.
No one can irritate you like a brother.
Yeah.
No one.
Exactly. Yeah. I love
that
you guys.
Relationship. Yeah. You have that relationship with someone where you love them but you're irritated by them. That's a brother.
Oh, yeah.
Or a sister.
That's why we get along so well on Frontline, though, because we are all really that tight.
Yeah, we are. I mean, we talk. If we didn't talk as much as we did, then I could see people saying that we might not like each other, but we talk constantly. Like,
we do.
I wake up, I see text messages from them. You know, I sent them text messages. When they wake up, they see them from me. You know, it's like that's just what we do. We message each other, talk to each other all day long.
There's hardly ever a day that goes by that I'm not talking to one of you two or typing in GroupMe.
I think I only went this year like a handful of weeks where like crazy stuff was happening where I couldn't be on GroupMe every single day.
Yeah.
But still, like
it's gonna happen. Yeah, I mean life's gonna happen. Yeah. But
I take some off the grid days. You know, where I spend in the real world with you know, my girlfriend and my loved ones. And
as you should.
Like that. Yeah. Of course. But as soon as I get back, I'm like, oh, sorry guys, I was, you know, like it's the first thing I do is I apologize for not being there because. You know, I miss them. I miss everyone when I don't see them I'll talk to them for a day, you know?
And it's like, you know, when we do Zone 4 or Frontline Live or any other show, sometimes because I've had like a day or something, I'm like, oh man, I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like recording. I don't feel like being social. And then I get on and it's like, man, I had so much fun. And it's not that I don't want to talk to you guys. It's like I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
You know?
It's just one of those days. Like you just have a day that it kicks you down, you know?
Yeah.
And by the time you get done, your cheeks hurting from laughing so much.
Exactly. And it's like I'm so glad I did.
Even though certain people don't get it, that's why I think that's what makes a live show so different. I mean, there are so many comic book shows out there right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that ours is the best comic show, but
I'm saying it's the best.
We are the best and we're the coolest.
I would say we're not even really, if you think about it. Yeah. If you think about it, we're not really even a comic book show. It's honestly a get-together. We don't even call it it's Frontline Live. It's literally...
It's six friends getting together talking about some comics and some news and just having a good time. Like that's what it is.
It's just like if you go to your comic shop and you see, you know, your friends at the comic shop and you talk to them. That's what
that was the tagline.
We really love each other.
That was the tagline when we did Dark Avenger Live on my channel. That was exactly the tagline.
And Zone 4, I mean, just bringing it back to this show specifically, when the four of us started it, Carrie, Chuck, Jason, and I, before we started the podcast, we had a private forum called LCS, which was named after a local comic shop. We were the LCS crew. That's what we refer to ourselves as. And that's where the idea of the podcast came from, was to bring that kind of vibe into a show and just get together and talk weekly about our comics like if we were standing in a comic shop together.
Now we have two shows.
Yeah.
We have Frontline Live and we have Zone 4 like that. So.
Yeah. So
and especially when you deal with families and stuff like that, because not everyone in the family or your friends are into the same exact thing as you are.
Right.
We all have that, you know, where you say something like, "Oh my God, this is something," you know.
Well, it's like you guys were talking about Saga the other day. I'm like, I don't care about Saga or Power Rangers. And you guys, when Chris and I talk about wrestling, and you're like glazed over, and poor Mike's just sitting there through all of it, and just like, oh my God.
Poor Mike. He's the one that kind of is in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we might be older too, Brent, but Mike is older, so like he's just like in the whole other realm.
He's grandpa of Frontline Live, even though it's like 2 years,
he
right?
Was in high school.
Yeah, he's only like 2 years older than us.
He was in high school when I was in pre-K, I think, if I'm correct.
I don't know. He's 2 years older than Jay and I. Jay and I are the same age, or just a few.
Where were y'all in 1991?
I am exactly 3 months older than Brant.
Yeah, 1991. I was in high school.
Yeah, I was in pre-K in 91.
I guess technically it would have been junior high. I was in
1990. I'm sorry, 1990. I was
eighth grade is middle school, junior high, whatever your area calls it.
Right. Yeah. That's where Jay and I were.
Unless you have one of those schools where it's like 8th, 9th grade, and then you got like 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. Like there's weird. Like even here in Pennsylvania, there's some places where like 9th grade is considered middle school, and then it's like 10th grade is considered high school. But most of the area is 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th.
Yeah, in Kentucky, when I was that age, it was still grade school, junior high, senior high, and then like I think a couple of years after I was in what was technically junior high, I went to a private school, a Christian school, so I wasn't actually in one. But I think it transitioned to where it changed the middle school and they changed the grades. So it was when I was in grade school, it was first kindergarten through 6th, and then it changed like a couple of years after I got out to kindergarten through 5th, and then middle school was 6th through 9th, and then high school was 10th through 12th. So
I went to 2 schools, but at the same time, I was in advanced classes or something, so I had to go to a middle school. So for 7th, 8th grade, I had to go to another middle school, and that one was I think 5th through 8th, and now it's actually a high school now. It closed down and became a charter school.
Gotcha.
But I was like 5th through 8th, but my regular school was kindergarten through 8th grade.
Yeah.
And I never went to kindergarten though.
I didn't go to kindergarten either. That's funny.
It was nap time. That's basically what kindergarten was when I was a kid. Yeah. Probably when Brant was a kid too. I don't know his school district, but for here it was basically nap time. The teacher sat there and let you draw, color, and take a nap.
Yeah, when I went
for me,
when I went in, they told my mom, is like, because mom was really good about teaching me my alphabet and all that stuff at home before I even started school. So when I went in, they were like, he's too advanced for kindergarten. He'll just go, just wait and hold him for 1st grade. No. Yeah,
they wanted to skip me when I went in for 1st grade because my brother is 3 years older than me. So everything he did for homework, I did. So like, because I wanted to be my brother. You know, he's cool. He's 3 years older. He got to do everything I couldn't do. Right. So I wanted to do everything, and I would do homework while he was doing his homework. And by the time I went into 1st grade, I was writing in cursive. So when they said write your name, I wrote my name in cursive. And they were like, that's not how you write your name. I was like, yes, it is. And they were like, no. I was like, yes, that's my name. That's how you spell it. And they were like, no, you got to write like this. I was like, but my brother writes like this. This is how big people write. Yeah. I'm in school. I'm a big person now. Nice. You can't tell me not to write like a big person.
Don't tell me what to do.
They wanted to skip me to 3rd grade, and my mom was like, "No, he's in 1st grade." Because I knew like so much of it, and I got offered to skip grades like 3 or 4 times. Once was in 9th grade to skip to 12th grade. My mom was like, "No, he's not missing out on his."
career. I was in. Was it 9th grade? Yeah, I was offered 9th to wait. No, 6, 7, 8. 7 to 8 because I was an honor student in my junior high, and my mom said no, and then I was offered advanced honors in Spanish for high school, but my high school years were the dark era. We don't talk about those.
I was so upset because in 5th grade, middle of 5th grade, I had to change schools. We moved. And when I went to the new school, they were behind my school. And so I was like 3-4 months ahead of everybody. And instead of putting me in advanced classes, they made me sit there and read books until everybody caught up to me. And it annoyed the crap out of me, but I was really quiet and shy, and I didn't speak up. And my mom didn't really know about it. So she didn't do anything about it either. So I missed out on and it's weird because my cousin was in the same classes as me, and he was in the advanced classes. He would leave and go to what was called Quest and do all the advanced stuff, and I'm just sitting there reading books, and I'm like, why are you not putting me in advanced classes? It makes no sense, and I'm still upset about that to this day. But we moved. we moved from a more progressed area into a far less progressed area of the city. So, what are you gonna do?
It's funny Jay mentioned cursive because I remember 3rd grade I had a really scary teacher, and I didn't want to go to school. My mom went up to the Board of Ed to get me transferred because she was
president in 3rd grade.
No, well, 3rd grade, she was a very scary teacher. She was very loud, and she, how do I put it? She was one of those teachers where when she got mad, you want to hide under a desk, and it's like a monster.
Oh, that's my reading teacher that I had in, I think it was 7th and 8th grade.
She got fired.
On the desk.
That was my social studies teacher in 4th grade. But yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Well, my teacher got fired 3 years after because apparently she laid hands on a kid finally, and that's what we were all worried about because it seemed like that. And ironically, there was another teacher like her, but I liked her more because she was sweet. Only when she got mad, she got scary. So I was okay with her, but I missed out on the first whole year, like the first half a year for 3rd grade, and then they transferred my class to a different one. And ironically, her schedule, she taught cursive at the end of the year for 3rd grade, and the teacher I got transferred to taught cursive at the beginning of the year, so I never truly learned how to write cursive.
You know what's funny is I still don't write proper cursive. I used to. Like, I learned how to, like, really early on, but for some reason, I don't like to write the first letter of a word in cursive. So if you look at my signature, I write like a regular B and then cursive RANT. The same thing for vowels.
A lot of people do that. I think a lot of people do that. I've seen that a lot.
Yeah.
Because I sign a lot of things in cursive, when I do my comic signature, I like to switch it up a little bit. I do a little bit of everything for my writing signature.
Yeah.
Chris, you'll like this, Chris? I'm such a big Superman fan. This is how much of a Superman fan I am. We had in 3rd grade an election. We had to create a country, create money, create a flag, all kinds of stuff.
Oh, no.
Our flag colors were red, blue, and yellow. It had, instead of the square, the rectangle where the stars are, it was a S shield.
Woo! Sorry.
It didn't have the S in it. It just had the shield, the shape of the diamond in it.
I'm sorry. I was wooing about something totally different. Sidetrack. I just flipped over to the Little Ember Kickstarter, and we just went over 200. So, sorry. Go ahead. Continue your story, Jay. I'm sorry.
Our country was named Krypton.
Of course.
The money was named the L.
Oh my God!
I convinced the whole class to do it. I ran on the campaign that comics were fun. And I would bring more comics into the classroom. And I did. And it was really cool because at the end of the week, like, you done stuff like you done your homework, you got money, you got an L, you got some L's. And at the end of the week on Fridays, she would open up shop at the back of the store and you can buy stuff. So, like, you could buy comic books, you could buy toys, all kinds of stuff. And it was a great thing to do. Like, that was the year that I decided I wanted to be a teacher when I grow up.
Nice.
But then I realized how much a teacher gets paid in Philadelphia. I realized I had to get another job to pay for everything.
Yeah.
So that didn't last that long. And that is the show.
Yeah. So we're not bad guys, but before we get into more about bad guys,
let's see what our mid show is going to be like.
Yeah. So we're going to take a Patreon commercial break. We'll be right back with you.
Swinging on a little thread, shooting spider webs from his hands. On the streets of New York City, he steps out to make a stand. He's Spider-Man.
All right, so we're back for the Patreon commercial break, and man, that's some funny stuff. You guys should go listen to this.
Oh yeah, it was the best. Oh my God, that had to be one of the best conversations ever. I would I would spend $100 to hear that conversation.
Something's going to happen with me eventually. Like, it's going to be something about the show with me.
Yeah, I mean, now you gotta know.
Yeah. I know. I mean, and if you just have to know and you have to listen, head over to patreon.com/Zone4Podcast and you get access for only $1. That might change in the near future. I'm going to restructure everything, but right now you can get them for $1. So
yeah, they're making me do something I don't do.
Yeah, it's so bad.
That's true. It's for an upcoming show, and you guys will find out way early. So you should go check it out. See what we're making Jay do. Fun stuff. And speaking of fun stuff, DC's Beach Blanket Bad Guys special, because it's topic time.
Topic time. It's topic time.
The book that I just want to throw this out there. The book that three other people on the show, you, Brant, Chris, and Gordon, all said it sounded horrible.
Yeah, that's very true.
I'm the only one who defended it and said it could be fun.
And you're right. I actually enjoyed a lot of the stories in here. Only one or two I would say, But for the most part, I did enjoy the book.
They still weren't bad though. Those ant stories.
I think they were all. I think they were all good, except for it's called Beach Blanket Bad Guys. But there were 3 stories I think with Beach Blanket Bad Girls.
Yeah, that's true.
Sexist
much, DC? Sexist much?
I think like in the middle way they were like, oh, we can't do it all guys book, so we got to throw in some villains. Some villainesses.
I guess it wouldn't have sounded. Well, they could have gone Beach Blanket Bad Guys and Gals special. Yeah, make it even longer.
But I remember I was like, it sounds like it could be fun, and you were like, ah.
It did sound terrible to me. I will fully admit that. I mean, just the name alone, it's like really,
I know.
Really. But you get into it, and there's actually some really meaningful stories in there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about those. I want to start with the ones we like the least, and I want to see if we agree. So I'm going to throw the one story I like the least out of it and see if it's one of your guys. The Black Manta one. That was my least favorite in the entire book.
Mine too.
Black Manta one, that one, and I was okay with Mr. Freeze. Both of those were like my lower ones.
Mr. Freeze was kind of funny.
Yeah, I thought that one was funny.
Oh yeah, it was funny. I would definitely
especially if you're from Philly. South Philly, because Firestorm lives up in, I think, North Philly, and he doesn't have it. But we have, like, 6 ice cream trucks here, and one of them is called Mr. Freezy. Nice. It has 2 E's at the end, so it's not copyright infringement.
Yeah.
We have Mr. Freezy. So I honestly thought that was funny, just to see that.
I love that it showed he had a little bit of heart there too, which, I think that character always does, because I mean his whole motivation is to save his wife. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was a cute story. It wasn't the best in the book, but I was okay with that one. Just the Black Manta one, huh?
I was gonna say, do you want to list off the name?
Let's do that. Go ahead.
I don't have it in front of me.
Oh, you don't have it? Okay, I'll get it.
I figure you did.
I should, right? I'm the host of the show. I should have information in front of me.
Normally I would, but I didn't have it. I put that book away already.
Yeah. Well, you know me. I'm so disorganized. I forgot we were doing a show tonight.
And I'm the over-organized one who has all my books listed in alphabetical order and numeric.
Yeah. And if you're a patron and you heard the commercial break, patron only, you'll know something else that's on Brand's end, and we'll see if that happens by the end of this episode tonight.
I don't even know what you're talking about now.
Something that happened right before we started. Okay, Jay said it. No. Okay.
Yeah. All right, so we have World's Finest, which is a Joker Bizarro story. We have Giganta Strong, a Giganta story, of course. I'm not going to list all the creators. Or Giant Woman if you're Chris, yeah.
Oh, my God. Like, I really care who this woman is. She always gets beaten by Wonder Woman anyway. Might as well be Inmate 25.
Okay, you have Help, a Lex Luthor story.
Oh!
You have Cruel Summer, a Gorilla Grodd story. You have Close Shave, a Mr. Freeze story. Dog Days of Summer, a Deathstroke story.
I think Chris just went into Pillsbury Doughboy movie.
I know, right?
I laughed.
I know. It was like very Pillsbury Doughboy, right?
False Idols, a Cheetah story.
Wow.
Perfect Gentleman, a Penguin story.
Wow.
Icy Embrace, a Black Manta story. and Independence, a crime syndicate story.
Hell yeah!
All right, so we've already talked about the Black. Well, yeah, we kind of talked about the Black Manta story a little bit. Not really, but just that we didn't like it.
Just a wee little bit.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about the Giganta one.
Chris, I know you have.
I was about to say I was waiting for Chris to jump in.
I know. I was waiting for it too.
I'm sorry, I'm fixing my Skype. You guys gonna have to do this a minute.
Your Skype is not important.
It's freezing my computer. Yes, it is important.
All right, go ahead, Jay.
I liked it. I thought it was good. Honestly, I liked everyone. I think, but the Black Manta one, I really didn't like that much. I thought it was weak. And the Joker one was a half and half with me.
Yeah.
Because Bizarro was kind of talking Bizarro, then he wasn't talking in Bizarro, and it just felt off to me.
It was also kind of a non-ending. It was like, what? Yeah.
I was the Bizarro one was interesting.
I mean, he kept going in and out of his speech, like you know, like he understood like hate and love, and then he would do the opposite, and like he would say opposites. So like I hate it when writers do that. They don't understand exactly how he speaks.
That's exactly it. Yeah,
they'll just like do a key phrase that he says, and then they'll write normal, and then they'll do like another key phrase.
You can't have to do it with Bizarro. Yeah, it has to be all or nothing.
Yeah, it's either exactly. You either go all the way or you don't go. Because it messes up the flow of the story. Mm-hmm. I read Bizarro very well.
Yeah.
I'm one of the few people I know that actually can say that. I understand Bizarro just by reading him as he's normally written, and without actually thinking about it. It's kind of like reading Kryptonese. I could do that too without even thinking about it. Mm-hmm. And it was like weird because he's saying like you love Bizarro and you are friends, but you're not my friend. And then he says, me and Bizarro, like he'll start to talk like him, and then he'll talk normal. And I'm like, you can't do that. You can't do it half, way. You have to fully commit to it.
Right. No, I agree. I thought the art was good in that one, though.
Yeah.
And going back to Giganta, I thought the art was really good in that one as well.
I like Giganta's story. I didn't think I would, but I thought it was a really good, solid one. Especially the ending where she's like, "Don't tell the goody goodies I helped you. Just tell them I got away."
Yeah, I like that she was going to let the dude off the hook and then realize that's your son. No, I ain't letting this go. You're not continuing the cycle.
And my Skype is completely updated and now closed.
Cool. All right, let's go to Independence, a crime syndicate story.
I love that one. I'm glad DC kind of retconned that the whole crime syndicate's dead, but again, it's a side story, so they could argue it happened before. But it's crazy how Superwoman was like literally made this huge plan to basically take down and lead the crime syndicate, forcibly, and then it's like, oh no. Owlman knew it was going. He knew it was going on from the beginning, and he's like, "That was my robot." Not me.
Very Owlman / Batman. That's the thing to do. So
it was, but I love the Superwoman was in charge there, kind of.
Which is a very Lois Lane thing to do.
Yeah,
be in charge.
Very true. Very true.
And she is the Lois Lane of that world.
Mm-hmm. So that was a pretty good one. I agree. Mm-hmm. Okay, Close Shave. We kind of talked about it a little bit. I just thought it was a fun story.
Yeah.
Dog Days of Summer was not my favorite. The Deathstroke one. It was creepy. That little girl.
I didn't care about that one.
I was like, why is he like? Is he going to have like this other pseudo? Like, are they setting him up to have another child, like his own Damian? Like, is the Damian Batman story succeeding so much? With Deathstroke having a little child that he's going to have a little psychotic killer with him. Yeah,
that was weird. And the twist where it wasn't actually her stepfather, it was like just some neighbor that took away her dog. He's like, what? Okay. That girl was creepy.
Yeah. So I can see, like, because a lot of people like the Deathstroke issue a couple issues ago. I think it was not the issue that just came out, but the one before that. Or maybe it was the one that came out. I forget. But it's like the one where Damian the cover is Damian with Deathstroke's mask and then his hood up.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not sure. It's like 1 or 2 issues ago. But a lot of people love that issue because of the way Damian and him interacted.
Yeah.
You know, Damian's a psychotic little killing machine. So this girl is a little psychotic killing machine.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if they're like doing this to maybe test to see how people like to see him with a little psychotic killing machine sidekick.
Right. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I guess we'll see going forward if she pops up again. All right. So, Cruel Summer, the Gorilla Grodd story. I thought this was interesting. Yeah, it was interesting. It was okay. I like middle ground. Yeah, it was more middle ground. I agree, but it was interesting seeing Barry trying to relate and Grodd just be like, "No, you don't relate to me. That wasn't my motivation. I made me stronger when my mom died. Yada yada." But it was still weird that he took vengeance on the apes when that was like his whole thing is apes versus humanity kind of thing. So. All right, one that I know you like, Jay, False Idols, Cheetah.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Okay.
I love that because... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I know it was in Jay's top panels.
Yeah, it was one of my top panels. I actually I had 2 from this issue.
Mm-hmm.
I had that one, and I had the one for Superman. But, I loved it because it shows the lengths that Wonder Woman will go to for her friends, even if those friends want to kill her, you know?
Right.
You know, her and Cheetah are enemies, but they're friends. She's friends with Barbara, you know? So it's like that duality there, and I loved it because, especially at the end, like, she's just nurturing her, and it just shows you what that Wonder Woman, yes, she is an Amazon warrior princess, but at the core of it, she's still this ambassador of peace, this peaceful person.
Yeah.
So I just love that.
I also took away from it, and it was a little bit more subtle, but when the girl came up there, basically worshiping Cheetah and wanting to be part of this whole thing, and Cheetah was, admiring her fire and everything, but I think at the same time, she was like, I'm not going to wish this on somebody else, so get out of here before I kill you. It was that kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So, a lot of heart in that story.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's see. I think the only 2 we haven't talked about are the Penguin and the Lex Luthor one.
Penguins was a dark twist, man.
Penguin was dark, right? I was like, he had the gun umbrella that early. That's weird, but
yeah, he had plans for going dark. It wasn't just something he was like, "Oh, this is the straw that broke the camel's back." No, this is premeditated, dude.
Oh yeah, and it was so sad though because this guy was genuinely trying to befriend him. It's like, I'll kill you. You take my girl. I'm like, oh well, I'm a bad guy. I love what she said to him. That stop trying to pretend like you're a good guy, and that was kind of like, okay, well, I won't be then.
Then I'll be the Penguin.
Yeah. Burgess Meredith.
I was just gonna say that. I was gonna say, thanks Burgess Meredith for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that Penguin versus the Scottish, Irish version
from Arkham.
From Arkham,
the games.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I don't remember. Are you talking about Danny DeVito?
No.
I was gonna say, when did Danny DeVito become Scottish and Irish?
Yeah, in the game he's some kind of British accent, not British, European accent. It's either Irish, Scottish, or British. I can't remember right now.
I think it's supposed to be because. It's probably because, he's got that proper attire,
Yeah.
Because for some reason down the road, a tuxedo became synonymous with a penguin.
Yeah. Just a black and white thing, I guess.
Yeah.
But, so he's almost, and it borderlines like Australian. I don't know. It's just a weird accent. Yeah. It's like one of those. If you remember, Kano from the Mortal Kombat movie, it's kind of like that.
Oh, yeah, I remember because I've seen the intercut movies, the cutscene movies.
Right.
So I've seen it, but like when he was talking about Penguin, I was thinking of live action Penguin. I was like, the only other live action Penguin I think is Danny DeVito. Yeah. So I was like,
I like Danny DeVito.
That's why I went to that.
Or the Gotham version, which is totally different.
Oh yeah, but he's pseudo Penguin.
Yeah, he's very weak, feeble penguin. but still.
And I still say, at least for the first couple seasons, he was the best thing about Gotham.
Oh, absolutely. I haven't caught up yet, but yeah, definitely.
It should definitely have been called the Penguin.
Yeah, I agree. So this leads me to my favorite story of the book, which was the Lex Luthor story, Help.
That was the best.
It was. It really was.
That's mine too.
Just, I love that this guy, this random dude that's changing Lex Luthor's tire, is like gushing about Superman, and Superman had this like
he doesn't know who Lex Luthor is.
Yeah, doesn't know who Lex Luthor is. He's just oblivious. He just
kills Lex. You see that in his face. It just like kills him a little bit.
Yeah, and Lex is like, you know, brooding, and he's got this, you know, air about him, and the guy is just like, he's not getting upset about it at all. He's like, oh, well, I really like him. I think he's a swell guy. This is so funny. And
yeah, but he's an alien. He thinks he can come here, and he was like, oh, yeah, I used to think that too. But then I met him.
Yeah. And then you have that nice moment where Superman just sits down and like, oh, yeah, man, it's been a day, and takes a burrito. It's just like, that's awesome because that's so Superman. That's Clark right there.
Yeah, exactly. And I love that he's actually in the story, which is so funny because the guy doesn't know who Lex Luthor is. But in the story, he's talking about Superman is telling him a story about how Lex Luthor got away with something.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny. Like the guy is telling Lex Luthor a story about Superman, telling him a story about Lex Luthor.
Yeah. And it's just, I love the irony there that there's this average dude that's a Superman fan that has to come to Lex's rescue.
Yeah. I see Jay being that guy with the Superman tattoo on his arm.
Oh, totally.
Jay, do you have a Superman tattoo somewhere on your arm?
No, but honestly, and this you can ask anyone who knows me, I always said eventually I'm going to get a tattoo, and it's going to be on that arm. It's going to be on my left arm, and it's going to be the House of L symbol, the Superman symbol. Mm. I also want to get some Kryptonian.
The House of L with the S or the House of L with number 8 inside the diamond?
The S. Okay. Yes. And I'm going to actually get because the 8 is not the House of L. The 8 is just an S.
In Smallville, they claimed it was, if you remember.
No, it was just it stood for hope.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was Smallville played fast and loose with Kryptonian symbols, but yeah. It would be the house. It would be the Superman S on my left bicep, and then I would also have like I want to get Kryptonian. I want to get like names in Kryptonian, like my father's name, my mother's name. You know, but in Kryptonian stuff.
Yeah.
Only people who are cool can read it.
If I was not a needle-phobic person, I would have an S as well.
Yeah, I don't do needles, so that was never an option for me.
I haven't bit the bullet yet to get the tattoo. Like my brother and my nephews all have tattoos. Well, my 3 oldest nephews. My 10-year-old nephew does not have a tattoo.
My mom will kick me out of this house. My mom already said, you ever get a tattoo, have your own place to live.
My brother has a tattoo, but it's terrible. It's he wanted to get a tattoo, and he snuck and did it. So he had a friend.
Oh no!
He had a friend that was apprenticing at a tattoo shop, and so he was at their apartment, and they drew a little sketch on a napkin, and he comes home with this tattoo, and it's like one of the worst tattoos I've ever seen. It's like lopsided. It's just weird, and he's embarrassed by it, but it's like, dude, if you wanted it that bad, I would have rather paid for you to go to an actual tattoo shop.
Well, you know, he could always tattoo over it. So
yeah, and that's the eventual plan, I think. But it was a meaningful tattoo for him because my brother, for anybody that doesn't know, when he was 14, he had a skateboarding accident and had a skull fracture, and he's got really poofy curly hair, and so it was a skeleton head with a scar on it and the poofy hair. That was the tattoo.
I hate to break it to you, brother. There's a character in One Piece who is a skeleton who I think has a fracture on his skull also and an afro.
Well, he probably knows about it because he's a big anime fan.
Yeah, he probably does.
I'm pretty sure he's watched One Piece. I know he's a big DBZ fan.
I don't know if he has a crack in his skull, though. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
My brother and my nephews have, like, a bunch of tattoos. Like, they got, my one nephew... All my nephews and my brother each have like a big tattoo on their right forearm, like their right not forearm, bicep, like right up there. Like they all have like big tattoos. Like my brother has a big scroll with like all his kids' names and all.
Oh yeah.
And like my other nephew has like the battle between heaven and hell. You know, like they all have like something there. One has praying hands for my father. You know, so they all have like meaningful on their right. So that's why I wanted it on my left.
Yeah,
I was like, I'm doing the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not the hugest fan of tattoos, but there's a wrestler. Take this back to our middle of the show break. There's a wrestler named AJ Styles, and so he has a big A on his side, on the side of his torso, but underneath it, he has 4 kids, and underneath it is the date of each one of his kids. So he has all their dates right beneath it, and he wanted to. I remember they did this special video for either WWE's YouTube channel or for the network or something, where he was getting a new one because he had just had his first girl. He had 3 boys and he had his first girl, and he wanted to do something different. So they put the date there, but they put a little bow on the 0. So, yeah.
Next pre-show, I'll tell you about another tattoo I wanted to get. There's only 2 tattoos I've ever wanted to get in my life. So, and one is Superman.
So again, if you're willing to put the dollar down, you'll know what tattoo Jay wants.
The funny thing is, and everybody knows I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, right? And I'm more of a Marvel guy. But the funny thing is, if I was ever going to get a tattoo, it probably would be the Superman symbol. And that's something people don't really figure out about me is I'm a huge Superman fan too. I have more Superman memorabilia and T-shirts and things like that than I do Spider-Man stuff. I have a Superman symbol keychain that's on my keychain all the time. So I'm big with Big Blue. So.
The thing with me is, and I love Superman and all, but to have a character created, and not to be full of myself, I would probably on my back wing, I would probably put the Celestial Falcon F, just because it's something that was created, and it's something that I thought up when I was a kid.
Meaningful.
Oh yeah, totally. If like I would have, and I'm never going to get a tattoo. It's just not.
I'm never either. I could sit here and plan out my whole body. It's never going to happen.
I could totally see me having Superman on one arm and having the Last Emperor a little fire thing on the other.
I would have Superman on one, and I'd have a Howling Wolf on the on my shoulder of my other arm.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
And again, I will tell my other one
on Patreon. There you go. Awesome.
Oh, right. I could tell a few on Patreon.
So that wraps up that topic. So that pretty much wraps up our show. That's all we got for this one. We went on a bunch of tangents though, so it's a pretty well-rounded show. So it's part of the show where we talk about what's coming out, and going on. So let's go around the table. Jay.
All right. So this one actually comes out tomorrow. Or today. What did I have coming up? Wow. I know there's a Media Madness coming up on Wednesday. We're going to be talking about the Orange is the New Black season. So that just comes out. That just came out on Netflix. And tune in for everything on comicfrontline.com. Check out Comic Book Theater -CR on Twitter, and Comic Frontline on Twitter. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me for this week. Next week it'll be busier. So.
Okay, cool. Chris?
This week, let's see. There will be a video up on Brooklyn Boys. Mike and I have a bunch of Oreos. We did a poll. So our first one is going to be the Cherry Cola half and half Oreo. We'll probably be doing that. No this week from Nintendo this week, ironically, because they moved the game we were going to get this week to a future week. So the Oreo one's going to kind of take its place, but it was going to happen anyway. Dark Avenger podcast, everybody knows that things have been crazy in my house, so hopefully soon. I don't want to give a date yet, but it is going to come. I do have a set agenda for that show. What else? Comic review as always, regular stuff. You can follow me on social media all across the board, Instagram, Twitter, Dark Avenger C86. On Twitch, you can follow me at Dark Avenger Gaming. I have not streamed in a while. Again, mostly due to stuff going on in the house. Once things settle down, and I get kind of on a schedule where I have a lot of work I want to do on YouTube and for Frontline, especially. Once I get all that out of the way, we'll have some games again. But I do want to do some Sea of Thieves, Skeleton Crew, or Skeleton Curse Sales before that goes away, because I've highlighted all of the DLCs that have come out thus far. So we'll see. But that's all for me, really.
Okay, cool. And for me, usual stuff at Brent Fowler on YouTube and social media, and everything Last Ember Press. The big thing that I have going on right now, of course, is the Little Ember Kickstarter, which is running right now. It launched on August 1st, and it's running through August 15th. Go check it out. We are currently sitting at 28% funded, 29% funded. We got another pledge. So,
and everybody in this cast has had their hands a little bit in the creation of that. Is that the story from the 24?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually posted a video today or yesterday on Instagram and Facebook talking about that, how collaborative an effort it was, because we did this, for anybody that doesn't know, right here on Comic Frontline, we did 3 live streams last October collaborating on this, and Chris and Jay were in the comments talking about it, and a bunch of viewers were throwing out ideas and everything.
We were on the show also.
Yeah, we did. I know I was on for the third. I think you were on for the first and the third part.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was
the little one with Brent and Lisa alone, right?
Yeah. Yes, you were like, Jay, get on camera. I was like, no, I'm in bed.
I remember that
bed.
now.
I'm actually in my bed.
But it's funny, in the video on Kickstarter, the Kickstarter project video, we talk about Chris's contribution of naming the cave sparkles, and I called them sparkles, and Lisa quickly corrects me in the video. It says cave sparkles. He was very adamant about that. So if you watch the video, you'll see that.
I gotta watch that now. I didn't see that.
Oh, you gotta watch the video, because I do this whole thing where I'm outside the LVP office, and I said, "Oh, hey, come on into the LVP office."
To be fair, Brad. Tonight is the first night I've been feeling.
Oh, no, I know. You've had a week. I understand. I'm saying you got to go check it out. It's a fun video.
I will.
A little blurry because I didn't realize it was out of focus when we were recording it, but it was a pretty good video, I thought, for on the fly. But yeah, so go check that out. Like I said, August 1st through August 15th, and we're really excited about this one. Lisa illustrated this. This is her first comic work as far as artwork goes. So
she did a great job.
Yeah, she did. She's
done it live. She's done most of it live.
Yeah. And, so go check that out. And that's it for me. So join us next week for a brand new episode. And, Chris, it's your turn to read us out.
Oh, boy. We'd like to thank the official bands of Zone 4, the Ray Waltz Band and Society's Plague, that you hear on the show each and every episode. We are also proud members of the Comic Podcast Network. You can find us on comicspodcast.com, Comic Frontline, Stitcher, iTunes, and, of course, zone4podcast.com. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions for us, send those to zone4podcast@gmail.com. And as always, thanks for listening, especially if you're a patron and sponsored us to listen to that big old commercial break. You are now leaving the fantastic Zone 4.
I forgot to take that out from previous episodes.
No, you didn't. I made sure to say it anyway. I figured. I know you left it.
That was from the Fantastic Forecasting call.
I know. I saw it. I left it. I purposely.
I thought it was
I pre-read it? I thought
it was going to stay in there from now on as a joke.
This is only a test for the X-Men.
This has been a Gonzo Goose production.